Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to talk about observer pattern. So this is one of the behavioral pattern and we use this pattern when there is, let's say, change in one object and we want to notify many other objects about that change or the event that has occurred. So one of the examples that I can think of is, let's say there is a shopping website and there is one product that you really like, but currently it's out of stock. So there is a one button called as notify me button. So when you click on the button, let's say the product is back in the stock, you will be notified about that change. So in that case, we can use the observer pattern. We have one example about the observer pattern. So the two main entities in the observer pattern are the subject and the second is observer. So the subject is the entity that is being observed. So let's say if we have a object called as book, and if there is the change in the availability, we want to notify the users about the same. So here the book will be the subject and the user will be the observer. So we have one function in the observer that is update. So basically when there is any change, we will call this update function. So this observer class is an interface. So let's say in future, if there is any other class that wants to become an observer, it can just implement that observer interface. Moving on to the code. So as discussed, we will have observer interface, which will have update function, which will take the book, and once there is any change in this book, the observer will be notified about that change. So in our case, user will implement this observer and it will override this update function. So whenever one user will start to observe this book, it will be notified about that change. So we have another interface called as subject, which helps us to add the observers, notify the observers and remove observer. So in our case, book is the subject. So book will implement this subject interface and it will have the list of observers, which are basically looking for the changes that happens to this book. So we have or written the function add observer. So when we want to add new observer, we will call this function. And if we want to remove any observer, we will call this remove observer function. And when there is any change, this notify observers function will be called and it will iterate through the list of observers and call the update function of the same. So let's go to the main function. So here we have created one user with ID 1 and name Jack, and we have second user with ID 2 and name Sid. Then there we have one book. Let's say the book name is Atomic Habits, and the current availability is set to false. For this book, we will add user 1 and user 2 as the observers. And we have another set of book that is book 2, and we will only add one user to this observer. So go ahead and run this code. So we call set availability function. So we can see we have got this and this for the first book as we have added two users as the observer, and for the second book we have only set the user one as observer. So when we change the set availability to true, only one of the observer is notified about that change. We can also add and remove the user according to our use case. So yeah, that's all about observer pattern.